And hello, everybody. Welcome into the Super Bowl podcast. This is episode number 6, live from the GCU Recording Labs. My name is Braden Dorman. Alongside me, David Arnold, Harper Hauk, and our first ever guest on the Super Bowl podcast today. Let's give him a round of applause. Harper, how about you intro up our first athlete?
Yep. So not only do we have an Olympic athlete with us here today, but we have an amazing guy who loves Jesus, lives for Jesus, and we've gotten the privilege to know him. Welcome in, Atu.
Thanks, Harper and Braden and David. Appreciate that. Yep. Happy to be here.
For those of you watching, Atu and I, we're teammates here at GCU Swim and Dive. We go back and forth quite a bit. We have battles every day at practice.
You mean you lose the battles every day at practice?
No, I said we have battles.
Here we go.
Let's talk about breaststroke.
We could do breaststroke all day.
But yeah, he's a lot of energy. Today should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to really get to know him after the sports segment, because we know with the Super Bowl podcast, we started off with some sports, and we'll get into really some cool stories here by the end of this episode. So to start us off, we're going to do something really fun. Our last draft, a lot of people enjoyed it. We're going to do because of Atu, a former Olympian, hopefully an Olympian in the future as well, we're going to do our favorite summer Olympic sports. There's so many to choose from. We'll see where we go here, but we're going to do a draft of 3 rounds. All 4 of us will take 3 different summer Olympic sports. Mm-hmm. And it starts off with, I believe,
it's me.
Harper Hauk.
So what you got there, Harper?
So this shouldn't be a surprise. As a collegiate swimmer, I'm going with swimming, number 1, up dramatically. Everyone loves watching the big stars, Michael Phelps, Mark Spitz, Katie Ledecky. The relays between USA, France, Australia. It's just such an awesome sport. So many storylines. That's my number 1 pick.
It's a great pick. And that's the thing for me, too.
A little bit biased.
Yeah,
maybe.
I said I was biased.
I was just going to say,
Good pick. I can tell you, good pick.
You seem a little bitter there.
From first-hand experience.
A little bitter.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't watch swimming until the Olympics, and there's a lot of people that don't. And it's not necessarily because I don't enjoy it. Like, I've enjoyed watching your guys' meets in person. It's just not very accessible for people to watch until the Olympics. So it is cool that every 4 years that stage is set and the swimmers show out. I mean, I think of, Michael Phelps, Katie Ledecky, Atu Ambala. I mean, that's
it's a big 3.
It's really a big 3 in swimming. So
Yeah. I don't think I can top that one with number 2. That was going to be my number 2 pick, but I figure with swimmers in the room, it's going to be tough. But number 2, I'm deciding between 2 here, and I'm going to go track and field.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
I mean, just solely, I just remember watching Usain Bolt growing up, dude. He is just so fun to watch, and really just those events they're just sprints, a lot of them, the really short ones. So, and even the long ones, like you can just see the endurance of the athletes and just how they give it all for their country. So I'm going to go track and field at number 2.
Solid pick.
That's the right pick.
Yeah.
And number 2.
So they are right picks. Okay. Well, I have to say, I'm going to change the trajectory of this draft completely.
Oh,
there we go.
With a completely dynamic pick, I'm taking Breakin'. For those of you that don't know, it's inaugural in Paris 2024. Get your tickets. But basically, Breakin' is just like, it's just some fun with dancing, and I'm just excited to see what the sport is going to look like, being an Olympic sport. I think I'm really glad that the Olympics is bringing on new sports and stuff like that. So it's evolving, as sport evolves, as people evolve, bringing on these new sports is great. So with my first pick, I'm taking Breakin', and watch out.
Yeah, you definitely shook it up. Was
No
not
kidding. I didn't even think that was an option. That was awesome.
I looked to the list
props
today.
to you, man.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
You went some digging, yeah. Wow.
Can't say that was a good or a bad pick. I don't know. I don't know.
All the breaking fans hating you right now.
Oh, yeah. All 3 of them.
Oh.
You heard that?
Oh, goodness. Okay.
The
Well, that
ratings going
means
down.
I've got 2 picks here. Breaking, you took my pick there. I was going Breaking next. So that's really disappointing. The first one I'm going to go with is beach volleyball. I love watching beach volleyball. The 2-on-2, it gets pretty intense. Maybe that's a sleeper, but I do think people, again, are really only watching that, the 2-on-2 version of that in the Olympics. And there have been some legendary combos, especially for Team USA, which is usually the team that we're watching.
Sure.
But that's going to be my 4th pick. Anybody mad at that? No. Okay.
No.
The
It was
next
on my
one.
board.
The next one's tough, man. I think I'm gonna go with. Some people call it football. Some people call it soccer. I'm gonna go with that for my 5th pick. Obviously, you have the World Cup, you have the Euro, but the Olympics. That's one of the biggest sports tournaments in the world. A lot of people love watching the Premier League and all the leagues overseas. Not as many people watch the MLS over here, but I do love it when the teams come together as a country and play. That it just means that much more, and that's when I personally enjoy watching soccer. So those are my 2 picks.
Is soccer in the Olympics a FIFA event?
It's like
Is it official?
they have like a rule that is like under 24 or something like that.
Yeah.
So
So
you can
some
only have like
younger stars.
one or two people who are over.
Okay.
But
Very
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, those are my 2 picks. So
All
we're
right.
back to you.
with the 6th pick in the draft again. Looking at my picks, it seems that this is gonna be, for lack of a better word, slept on picks. Kind of. I'm gonna go with fencing here, guys.
Oh, that was on my board.
That's
Nice.
that's just
Nice.
it's just a sport that it's just I don't get to watch it much, and again, it's kind of like the same situation with swimming. It's just so fascinating to watch, like the skill, the like quick reactions, all of that, and all the fancy gear they wear, and it's just like I remember watching this fencing match where I think with the finals, I think they go to 14. I'm not too sure how the scoring works, but he was down 9-14 and he came back point and won the Olympic gold. Like that's just like just a pure raw emotion, and it's just it was and the technology involved. It's really cool. It's just fascinating. So yeah,
Good pick.
fencing's off the board, guys.
Yeah, it's a good one there
Yeah.
because I was looking at that at 7, but I'm gonna go with one that I was even thinking about number 2, which maybe would have been a stretch now,
Please don't take it.
but I'm going basketball.
Ooh,
The
3v3?
USA basketball. I'm going just I think we can put any form of basketball in there, but 3v3 or your traditional basketball. Especially as a USA fan, it's nice every year to watch all the NBA superstars go at it, and even the NBA has a lot of players overseas as well, so a lot of really cool games going on there. Yeah, it's a classic. I like that. I was always looking forward to that growing up, watching the games, the basketball games. So couldn't go wrong with that one. So
Good point. Good point.
All right,
Fair.
cool.
Yep.
Got back-to-back picks here, and I'm glad these both fell to me. I'm going water polo at number 8.
Yeah.
Good one.
Staying in the aquatic realm, such a dope sport. These guys are absolutely tanks. These guys are huge. And the fact that they can move the way they do in the water, and it's team-oriented, it's super physical. I think it's super fun to watch. And then at number 9, I'm going table tennis.
yeah.
I mean,
Dang it.
I think everyone loves playing regular table tennis, right? But when you see the guys in the Olympics play, you're just in pure shock. You don't understand how they're hitting the ball that quick, and they're hitting every volley back and forth. We need to pull a clip up on that.
Yeah.
when you
Yeah,
edit
we'll-
the video. Yeah.
We'll get that.
That's number 8 and 9 for me.
It's a good team right there.
Yeah.
Feel
Put
pretty
together.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Number 10, my last pick. We're sticking with water here. We're going surfing. How about it?
That's a good one.
I mean, it's new, so it was in the last Olympics in 2021. So, I don't know a whole lot about it. I just happened to turn it on. I'm like, oh, this is an Olympic sport. This is sick. So that's kind of that's my sleeper. So not a lot of people even probably know it's a Olympic sport, but it is. So going with that at number 10.
Nice.
I'm going 3 for 3 on sleepers here. Tough decision, honestly, really tough. But I'm gonna go with skateboarding.
They're adding it, right?
No,
Or
they
was
had
it
it.
already?
They had it at 2020.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's just really cool. Just something that I don't get to do every day. I actually got my first penny board at 12, so I've been riding for quite a while. I just haven't been exposed to the skateboarding realm on the competitive level, and just being able to see that. Also, like, just skateboarding has inspired a lot of like street culture, like Vans, for example. Vans are a skating shoe. I'm actually rocking some Vans right now, but
There you go.
Hey.
but yeah, just like Vans. Also coming on campus, skating around. It's just I enjoy it. I'm not that good at it, but I'm pretty confident on the board, and yeah, honestly, I'd be down to watch a few competitions in that. So yeah.
You
You've done it
definitely
all in
have.
front of
You have a fun team. You have
Yeah,
a fun
you do.
team that you put together. A lot of sleepers that are looking to take names. So
Yep.
that's an awesome team. All right, I'll finish this draft out. I'm going to go with another bigger sport around the world, at least, and it's going to be tennis. There's obviously the big tournaments throughout every year. We got Wimbledon and the Australian Open that just finished up, the French Open, and then the U.S. Open. But the Olympics are also huge every 4 years, and the best players in the world are at the Olympics every year.
Yep.
So you'll see the Federers and the Djokovic's and the Nadals. And on the women's side, Serena Williams and Sharapova. So many players. So I love tennis, and we got to go with that. So that's going to end our draft. We want to hear what you guys think. Obviously, there's so many different sports, so many different teams that we put together here, but we want to hear who has the best team. You let us know right now. We will pop up on the screen everybody's team, so you can vote right now. All right. With that being said, we got to talk about the Super Bowl because this is our last chance to discuss it before it takes place here in Phoenix, Arizona. And, guys, after all the craziness that we thought was going to happen, the 2-1 seeds are right back in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs and the Eagles. Andy Reid's old team versus Andy Reid's new team.
Yep.
I guess not very new. He's been there for a while.
Sure.
How about the Kelsey brothers against each other? Just a lot of storylines. Going to be an exciting, high-powered game here at State Farm Stadium.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good one. I was hoping the Niners would put up a little bit more of a fight. Obviously, with my bold prediction with Purdy, too bad that he went down. Really, who knows? Maybe things are different if he was healthy. But the Eagles are a great team. So I guess if we're getting into picks here, I doubted the Eagles versus the Giants. I doubted the Eagles versus the 49ers. And I am not doubting the Eagles here. I'm picking the Eagles in this one. I think they're just the better team all around. Can't discredit Mahomes, what he's doing. It's amazing. But just think the Eagles find a way with their full roster, complete roster. Their defense, especially, I think will step up and make a couple plays against Mahomes. And, man, that's hard to do. But I think they will. And I think they win in a close game.
Yeah. I'm hoping for a close game.
Yeah. All right. I'm going Eagles, too. I've actually been saying this since the first ever episode that we've had, Super Bowl podcast. I think the Eagles have the best NFL roster, top to bottom. You can pull up the receipts. I said it the first episode.
You did.
I just think they have the best roster. They're super balanced. The defense has vets. It has young studs. They have the best offensive line in the NFL, an amazing run game. And what has the Chiefs' weakness been the last few years? It's the run defense.
Yep.
So I think they're going to exploit that in the Super Bowl. And I actually have the Eagles winning by 10-plus points. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty new to the whole football scene, so I can't go talk about past years like Mr. Hawk over here. But maybe that's to my advantage because I'm taking the Chiefs. Chiefs. I have a lot of faith in Mahomes. What he was able to do against. Don't tell me I got it. I got it. Oh, the Bengals. Joe Burrow and Burrowhead. No. Anyways, but Patrick Mahomes. He was on a sprained ankle. Like you could see, he was hurting. But a lot of people stepped up. I can't name names, but it's just like I know he's struggling out there. No receivers that game, but I have faith in Mahomes. Also, actually, something I wanted to talk about very briefly before we continue. When I was watching the game. First thing Mahomes said on the podcast, on his post-game interview, was like, thank God for giving him the strength to heal his body. And I was like, that's. Maybe that's sold it to me. That I was just like, he puts his faith in God, and I'm taking the Chiefs. Chiefs are going to win by 3 field goal. I'm taking it 24-21.
Cool.
Doesn't
like
cover
that.
the spread, but I'm taking a low-scoring game. I know that Eagles defense is solid, and Mahomes is struggling on offense, but I think the Chiefs defense will step up and make some big plays. Yep.
I like that. That's a good point too about Mahomes. Obviously he had a lot of trash that had been thrown at him the previous weeks, and he had a lot of things to say, and he did eventually get to some of those things on that post-game interview. But initially he was like, all right, let's stop. I want to thank God right now for the opportunity that I got to play in this game. Nonetheless, that now I'm in the Super Bowl, because he was banged up and people were pretty sure he just wasn't going to make it, and a lot of people thought the Bengals were going to win. But he looked pretty much perfect out there, and then he did get banged up again at the end. But now we shouldn't doubt him at all that he's going to be available and at full health come Super Bowl, which is why I'm also going with the Chiefs. So let's do this.
Eagles over
So
here.
a big divide down here.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's go Chiefs, and I think it comes down to the quarterback position. Jalen Hurts has been amazing this year. Patrick Mahomes has been amazing this year. They're the two MVP candidates. Like these are the two guys we've been talking about all year. And what do we know? They're here in the Super Bowl. They're taking each other on. Both these teams that played in the stadium this year in Week 1, the Chiefs came in and stomped the Cardinals. The Eagles took them out Week 5. Both their fan bases made State Farm Stadium their home, which a lot of teams do here. It's in Phoenix. The Cardinal fans don't really show up, but
That's fair.
I do think their fans are going to show out. It's going to be a really good atmosphere, a really close game, and I think it's going to come down to what quarterback can make the play there at the end. And I think I'm going to lean Mahomes over Hurts this time around. Not to say that Hurts can't get there in the future, but I think as far as experience goes, Mahomes has it on that big stage, and Hurts just hasn't seen it yet. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, and to defend that point, even over here, the Eagles haven't played a close playoff game yet.
Right.
They haven't. I mean, they've blown
looked
out.
dominant.
They've ran over their teams. So I don't expect that to happen here, and I think that could be a disadvantage to the Eagles. With the Chiefs coming off a close game win versus the Bengals. So, and obviously you can't count out Mahomes. So, but that's why I think it's gonna be a close game. But I do think the well-rounded Eagles team is gonna be just enough. But
Yeah, and to your point a minute ago about it coming down to the quarterbacks, I actually don't think that's the case here because I do think the Eagles have a much better overall roster.
I agree.
And they're really banged up right now, the Chiefs. They
Very
have
true.
they have 2 weeks to recover and hopefully rest up, but they have a lot of supporting roles that if they're not healthy, then that's another advantage towards the Eagles. So I don't think it necessarily comes down to who plays better with Hurts and Mahomes. So
We'll see. We'll see.
house
All right.
divided.
Again, we want to see what your guys' Super Bowl picks are. This is the big game. This is the game of the year, as it is always. And we're lucky to have it here in Phoenix. It's going to be a crazy next 2 weeks here, just being around this entire atmosphere. So that'll be cool. But that's all we have today for our main sports section. But we really want to get to know Atu Ambala here, our guest.
Ambala.
Ambala. Yeah. You have such a cool story, and I think we should just start off by how we know you, and that's because we met you here at GCU, and you've really gotten to know your teammate Harper Hauk here. But tell us about your experience at GCU swimming, and really how you got here in the first place.
Yeah, actually, where do I begin?
It's a lot there.
Wow.
Open-ended question.
Open-ended. Yeah, those are tough. How I ended up at GCU. So I'll take it way back. So I've been swimming since I was 18 months. 18 months, yeah.
I have not.
I was swimming competitively since I was 6. So I've been in swimming a lot, but yeah, I mean last after my freshman year I entered the transfer portal and looking around, and just so happened that two of my current teammates were back in Kenya competing for nationals, and then I was able to get in contact with Steve, our coach here at GCU, and he's like, yeah, we have a spot for him, and then came over summer and just put some work in. I actually got to compete at the Commonwealth Games this past summer, so that was also another great experience, Just been fortunate enough to to travel a lot, and then obviously met people like this guy, Harper Hauk. Yeah, but we go at each other at practice. It's always fun. Picking each other up. Obviously, I'm always winning, but
Yeah.
it's
He
okay.
has to say that because he's not.
He'll get there. He'll get there eventually. But yeah, I mean the
We
team.
can pull up the receipts, actually.
We can. Honestly, we can. I mean, but yeah, I love the team. I love being here. Just a group of guys. Also the girls as well. Yeah, just it's like family. It's like family out here, and I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the environment we try to create here on the team. It's very much like a family. There's a lot of different people from different backgrounds and parts of the world. It's really cool. It's like a melting pot just on the team here at GCU.
Yeah.
So enough about your career. Talk to us about the Olympics. How was that experience?
So the Olympics, it's kind of like a weird experience to talk about, just because I'm very fortunate enough that I competed at the Olympics, but it was just like there was like an asterisk, like the little bubble ring. There's like
Yeah.
an asterisk to the whole experience. You don't have the whole atmosphere. So definitely the whole atmosphere experience was missing out on that. Like we didn't have any fans in the stands. They kind of did this cool thing with the seats where it looked like the stands were filled. But we knew that there were no fans, and they had like the surround sound as well. But also like the whole experience, like getting to meet new people, all of that, because people were really wary about catching COVID, obviously, because you get COVID and you're pretty much, you're done. That's
Right.
the end of your Olympic experience. Actually, funny story about that. So, we left for Uganda for a training camp in like beginning of June, I want to say, and then immediately we get there, boom, I test positive for COVID. So I'm in isolation for 10 days. Before that, I was in isolation for because you have to get like cleared before you can start. So like 3 days, test positive, 10 days, and then I had to take like another week out the water. So I came out like almost out for the water for a month. I had 2 weeks until I raced. So it was a very tricky situation.
Wow.
Do I take the training up? When do I start to taper? It was just like a lot of chaos. But I was fortunate enough. I was able to swim within 0.4 of my best time. I swam the 100 freestyle. Yeah, it was just, I remember just looking up the wall, touching. It definitely hurt. I watched back and it felt like a piano fell on my back. So it was tough. Definitely one of my toughest races. I tried a completely new strategy because it was just like, you know what, just go for it, just kind of full send it. Took out that first 50 a lot faster than I've ever taken it out, and needless to say, I felt it. But that's part of like the it's a one kind of once in a lifetime opportunity. I remember touching the wall and just seeing the rings, because like the blocks had like the rings right there, and it was just like, it's just a surreal experience. I can't even begin to fathom. Like I can't even put into words. And they had the really cool red blocks for the first time, so that was fun. But it was just getting to see all these superstars, hang out with them. Obviously we were limited because of COVID and stuff, but I'm still fortunate enough that I was able to get there. Also really fortunate. God for giving me that opportunity just to represent my country and giving me multiple opportunities leading up to that, and also even after that, bringing me here to GCU, hang out with some of my friends. I got to catch up with some of my friends as well, make new friends. It's really what the whole Olympic experience is about. Just building relationships and growing in them. Yeah.
Yeah. And about that, like, it's amazing. Just that story of touching the block, seeing the rings. That's so amazing. And, I feel like in that moment, we talked about Mahomes earlier. The first thing he was like, thank God, for giving me that opportunity.
Yeah.
I know there was a lot of, I'm sure, it was all about the best time. It was all about going and getting it. This is it. This is your shot. But how did you keep God first in that? And I know there's so much going on with just the competitive edge, right? Just for your country, this is a big deal, you know? But just keeping God first, how did you go about doing that?
At the race specifically, I remember I touched the wall, I looked up, I saw the rings, and I just started smiling. I was just like, wow, this is, just thank you, God, for putting me onto the stage. This is, one of one in the whole nation to compete at the Olympics 2020. So, like, I can't even, a lot of the times I kind of play down just because, but sometimes it's just the raw emotion is it's just overwhelming, and it's like, thank you for that. But I remember the build up to my race, really just try to put God first, especially like just spending time in the Bible, kind of grounding myself in that aspect, praying my family as well, kind of seeing ways that I can grow in my faith, and use my sporting abilities as a platform. And that's definitely still something that I want to continue to do as I continue to grow in the sport. Whether it's in swimming or beyond, definitely still want to use that our God-given gifts, just kind of to promote His kingdom. But yeah, just kind of making sure that God was like the fulcrum of everything. Just like you can't without that missing piece, it just all falls apart. And yeah, I've had my fair share of kind of just being swamped up in swimming, and I've definitely I've definitely seen the other side of it where you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna swim, and then after I'll worry about God. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
How do you want to get into that a little bit more? How you balance that? Because when you're a D1 athlete or
Yeah.
you're an Olympic swimmer, like
Yeah.
you have to put a large amount of your time into that. How do you balance that, and with all the other things that life throws at you? And again, how has God kind of helped you through that? Because you're here now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's actually something that I've been really just taking some time to just unpack. Also with like some of the guys on the team, Harper, Griff, Chris and Lauren, but also on my own, just such, there's been ups and downs. I know this season for me hasn't really been the greatest. But just kind of keeping my head up, but also just knowing that what is God teaching me out of this? A lot of the time it's like, oh my gosh, I've put in so much work. It's very easy to get frustrated at practice. Very easy. A practice or me to be like, oh my gosh, I was practicing so hard, beating this guy in practice, obviously beating Harper, and then he
I'm
comes
the
to
same
beat,
guy every time.
and then he comes in the meet and he beats me, and it's like, oh man, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? What is he doing that I'm not doing? Obviously, there's various ways you can tweak that athletically, work on your diet, sleep, all of those. But that's just kind of like temporary. So like I've been doing some, especially this past like I want to say for the past couple since. Yeah, kind of after the Olympic, it was just very easy to be like, okay, this is like it's not something that happened consciously, but like it was like, okay, so you take some time off swimming and you're like, okay, a lot of the time you just realize where your prayer points are. A lot of the time it's like, God help me swim faster at this meet. God help me swim faster at this meet. But then it's like after a point you get to like, what are you just seeing God for what He can give you, or are you trying to grow in that in your relationship with God? So yeah, this is something that I've just taken some time to just like think about, and I'm like, wow, a lot of the times looking at my prayer points, and it's just like, what can I get from this relationship? Yeah, like it's not to say that I'm not worshiping Him and I'm not grateful to God, but it's a lot of the times like, okay, by the way, so there's a swim meet coming up, so can you help me with that? But
Sure.
I love you, but can you help me with this swim meet?
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, just like that also. So just being able to like, I know this is kind of like a really tough one, as you said, like being an athlete, there's a lot of expectation. You got to have that dog in you,
Got it.
So just being able to just just being able to let go and just kind of putting in God's hands, just go to practice every day, turning on a new leaf. Obviously have guys like this guy to remind me of that every single day. Just going to practice. Doesn't matter what you did yesterday. Doesn't matter about tomorrow. Just go. And, God has put you there. He believes that you can benefit from that. Obviously, not everyone is going to go on to be an NCAA champion, but you have a role in that. I saw this really cool thing. I actually tested with you guys. So raise your hand real quick for me. Just raise your hand. Okay. Raise it a little bit higher. So why didn't you raise it 100% the first time?
Okay.
Very
Oh.
good point.
Yeah,
Very good
so
point.
it's just like that. Also, like why we're holding back not only in our athletic abilities but also in our faith as well. Why we should be giving 100% to God in everything that we do, and that involves like reading our Bible, praying, and everything, but also using the gifts that we've given us, and kind of sitting back there and just being like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go to practice because it's gonna be bad. That's not. No, it doesn't help you athletically. It doesn't. You're not using your gifts to glorify God in any way by doing that. So, I mean, yeah, if you want to be a D1 athlete, if you're currently a D1 athlete, just make sure that you have God at the center. You gotta have that dog in you. I'm not saying be soft. I'm not saying be soft. I'm just saying,
Stay hard.
Yeah, make sure that inner motivation, inner why, inner discipline is coming from a Christian background, from grounding yourself in the Word, grounding yourself in God, and not looking at the achievements based on what you're able to like times. Obviously for swimming it's very easy. You can look at just times and you can compare and you just be like, wow, this person is swimming really fast, or I'm not swimming as fast as I did last time we did this.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to get swamped up in those, but yeah, just being able to just let go and just give it to God,
I love that.
Absolutely.
And I think really the best part you brought up there was just the intentionality with your prayer.
Yeah.
I think that's something we haven't talked about on this podcast. And that just the prayer points is huge because even for people that aren't athletes, they're just praying when things are going bad, or they're just praying when it benefits them.
Yeah.
And maybe they're not praying for other people, or they're not just praying for a good day. Like once you're praying for that good day and for God to live in your life or live through you and just, push your steps each and every day, that's when you know you're truly praying the right way.
Yeah.
And that's something that's super tough to do and something that you can easily get out of. So I think it's very relatable for a lot of people, and especially for athletes who have even less time to think about it. So it's cool that you're fighting to do that each and every day.
Yeah. And props to you. I mean, one of the hardest prayers I think to pray is, God, let your will be done, not mine. That's a really tough thing, because it may not be in his will that you go out there and swim, incredible or hit a best time. And I think there's something really big to that of not chasing the hand of God, but the heart of God.
Yeah.
I mean, because sometimes if we're not careful, we can go for that. We can go for, Lord, help me be successful in this worldly thing, or help me be successful in this day. And success isn't wrong, but there's significance when you give it up to Christ and allow him to lead. So props to you.
Appreciate that. Yep.
For sure.
Well, I think another good point you brought up there was, honestly, I do want to hear a couple more things about the Olympics, but you went on a really good rant. You
did.
You preached to us
amazing.
really for about 5 minutes, and I want to talk about at some point that opening games parade, because that had to have been a cool experience, even though it was 2020. But how does just having teammates like Harper, like you said, and other teammates, I know you guys do Bible studies. How does that, I guess, after a long day where maybe you're like, I've already trained today, I got up super early, I just want to go to bed, but how do you have the mental power to fight through that and still give God time of your day? Yeah,
it's definitely a challenge, especially in sports where it's like everyone on the outside, like they look at what you're able to accomplish. Like if we're let's take you back very shortly, to the Super Bowl little segment that we had, comparing Jalen Hurts to Mahomes, experience on, or who's thrown more touchdowns. That's gonna be the talking points for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously no one is gonna talk about you're barely gonna hear anyone talk about Mahomes is backed by his faith. That's not gonna be a talking point for anyone.
Yeah.
So in the same light, obviously in swimming you're gonna be he has a faster time. And I understand that, because at the end of the day, your coaches want what's best for the program, and what's best for the program is how many people can we get onto that scoring list, how many people can we get to be on that podium. Yeah. So it's kind of it's a very tough balancing act, being able to balance putting God first, but also at the same time being athletically committed. But yeah, just to go back to that opening ceremony experience, it was something. We stood in the tunnel for 2 hours, but when they call you out, and
because Uganda, right?
Yeah.
You guys were one of the last ones to go out there.
No, we were actually one of the first, because it was the Japanese alphabet or something like that.
Oh, cool.
So
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the home nation's alphabet. So it wasn't that bad, but I remember we came out and we were seeing people waiting in 2 hour long line. I was like, man, I do not want to be in your position right now. But it was just so those that went early, it kind of felt like a surreal experience, because it was just a culmination of all the effort that we've put into practice, all the time that we spent, all those early mornings. It just all felt worth it, at that point. And also all my family and friends watching back home, I know it was a crazy hour. It just felt it felt bigger than me, it felt bigger than me just being there. So it's just.
How many Ugandan Olympians were there? Ballpark.
At the opening ceremony, or we were about because we came, not everyone was there at the time, so we were about 7. I think the whole team was about 20, 25 Olympians.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
And you were the only swimmer, right?
No, I was the only male swimmer. So
Only
there's a
male
male. There's another girl who swam as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Did you get to wave the flag?
I didn't. I was right behind them. If you look at the shots, I was right behind them. But I was.
We need to pull up some of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been a flag bearer a few times. Youth Commonwealth Games, I think African Games. So Youth Commonwealth Games in 2017, African Games in 2019, 19, captained a few junior national teams. Few
You've
regional
been there.
teams.
You've been there.
You know, I wanted to give other people a spotlight. You know, I don't want to take all the credit for myself. But no, I mean, I mean, there were a few people who were a few seniors on our team, so to speak. So I mean, I was more than happy to just be where I was. Honestly,
Yeah,
you know,
For sure.
yeah, this reminded me that I am really bad with Bible verses, but I'm good with anecdotes. So here we go. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the story of Jesus going to the wedding, and when he goes, sits at the back, and he's like, "Don't sit at the front." And if the host thinks that you're more important than where you are, you move forward. So in that's the same sense. Like in that flag bearing position, you know, if they didn't want me to be the flag bearer, I was content with that, and then just. If they wanted me to do a flag bearer, I'd step up and do that. So yeah,
I mean, clearly you're a humble guy. Like
Yeah.
we're on this podcast so we can
Very clearly.
let people know who you are, and so that's why you're
Appreciate
talking
that.
about these things. But it's not like you're just like, yep, I'm an Olympian. I'm walking around camp. Like, not a lot of people probably know because you don't bring it up, and that is something that is straight from God's image. You know, so that's a great point.
Actually, I try to tell people that he's an Olympian all the time, and he gets mad at me for it. So he's incredibly humble. I tell people, and he always kind of gets a little blushy and everything. So
Well, that's something that all Christians should strive for, and one of the hardest things to do because we have a lot of successes in our lives, and
Yeah.
we have a lot of really good moments, and sometimes it's just like, hey, you know, I'd love to scream off the rooftops that I'm doing this or that I did this, and God doesn't necessarily need that. He knows that you have your loyal supporters around you and people that are rooting for you. But at
Right.
the end of the day, it's just about one mission that you can be screaming from the rooftops and that, you know, I have God, and God's the one that got me in this position. God's the one that God's the reason. And that's cool that clearly is something that you do each and every day.
Yeah. Just just trying to, again, keep God first. Definitely, I'm not gonna say it's been easy. It's not been easy. Definitely been a uphill battle, especially when it's easy to be that corner in the room praying for something, but when you get it, that's when the true test is. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I can't remember. I've been dreaming to be an Olympian since I was 15, 14, and then for it to happen 5-6 years later. Not everyone can say that, and I'm fortunate enough that I was able to get it, yet alone get it that quickly. So yeah, just after that, definitely like there was a rocky situation with my faith. Easy to get kind of drift away from God when everything that you have is given to you, and also like again coming to college, completely different environment. Swimming is more like it's more of a team sport there, so like there's a lot more. It's approached differently. So
Yep.
Just navigating all of those new experiences. But I'm still fortunate enough that I was able to do that, and also have family as well back home, also in Maryland and Virginia, you know, who are also still grounded, and also just anytime I get a text from them, it's just like, yeah, you know, this is what someone who's after the heart of God. This is what it looks like, and I want to be like that, you know. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you guys got anything else, I think we're going to wrap up this first episode. Thanks again, Atu, for coming on. Hey, nobody else is going to be able to say that they were the first guest on the
First
Super Bowl
guest ever.
podcast.
I have a very
And-
important question if we have the time for it.
We absolutely have time.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, Atu,
Yeah.
who's your favorite teammate here at GCU Swim and Dive?
Oh,
Cut. Oh, statics. Pick a favorite.
Any breaststrokers come to mind?
Breaststrokers. I don't think we do breaststroke in here at GC.
I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to, yeah. But honestly, serious question.
You don't have to answer. I'm just.
I don't have a favorite teammate. I have have very different relationships with a lot of people on the team, and you know, I'm fortunate enough that I know everyone on the team and everyone knows me, and I have a good relationship with everyone on the team. You know, I can go around the team and call every single person my friend. Again, that's just like I'm grateful to God for that. You know, I've been on teams where there's a lot of like conflict, there's a lot of strife. You know, there's tension in there, and I'm fortunate enough that here at GC we don't have any of that. So Yeah, Lopes up for sure.
That's the right answer right there.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Well
say
done.
good answer. That's
Yeah.
about
Hey,
as good as it gets.
I'm
You
media
didn't take the
trained.
bait.
I'm media trained.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to pass his media training before he came on the podcast. I'm just kidding.
No, but seriously, we want to thank you so much, and just hearing your story, hearing how humble you are, how God driven really you are, man, that is needed in this world. We're drifting further and further away, it seems like, and there's, your light's going to shine brighter. I truly believe that, and we need that in athletes and everybody. And I know the people watching appreciate you for your bold faith. That's what we're here to do. The Super Bowl podcast, and we just really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on the show. I mean, I was really excited when Harper told me he was starting a podcast and to be the first guest ever. I'm pretty sure you guys have a great lineup of guests coming up, and I'm excited for more episodes to come. And if you guys want me to come back on, I'm more than happy to do that.
Of course.
Yeah,
we appreciate it, man. And as David said, we're pretty positive. Whatever you do here in the future, whether it's swimming or it's something else, it's gonna be something good, and it's gonna be something that sure makes God seem like the savior that he really is. So
absolutely.
We're proud of you. Keep it going. We're gonna be rooting for you as this college season ends. Thanks again for coming on the show, and thank you all for watching episode 6 of the Super Bowl podcast. We appreciate your support, and we'll catch you guys in 2 weeks with our next guest by the name of Gabe McLaughlin, GCU men's basketball player. We'll see if you guys will be back for that one, because that's gonna be a fun one. All right, we'll catch you guys later.
Outro.
Oh yeah, outro. Holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is a night over dear Savior's birth.
Yeah.
And with that, folks, good night.